Yeah. Morning, everyone. How you doing? Danny here. I was going through my research artifacts and such last couple of days, and the reason why I'm going through my artifacts and things and such is because I'm thinking about doing a seminar sometime this year, this summer. And I was going through some of my artifacts, and I cannot believe what I came across, and it's I haven't seen this in 13 years. And what it is, it's my very first personal journal files when I started T. Muss and Bigfoot, Garland and I. And this is the very first edition that I started documenting my research. Although I was researching a couple of years before I started the files. And the first couple of years was nothing but a pure education, period. It was something I definitely need to be educated about because, to be quite honest, when I started it, I didn't have a clue about anything. I didn't follow nobody else's path because that's not me. I make my own path. I clear my own trail. I blaze my own trail. I don't follow somebody else's. They have their agenda. I have mine. So that's why I never documented anything, because I didn't know anything. I didn't know exactly what to look for, how to look for it. Like I said, it was a good couple of years of self-education. I did know at that time that I had to educate myself further, and I did throughout the years. And that's when I got into anthropology real deep, and which paid off, because that is what allowed me to discover the origins of these hominin hybrids, or AKA Sasquatch. Okay? If I did not have that knowledge, there's no way I could have linked the two together. I guarantee you that. So, as time went on, those couple of years, we learned a lot. And it was a continuous learning process. It still is today. Anyway, what's really, really fascinating about my first edition, volume number 1, you see, something happened that completely blew Garland and I, blew our minds, period. What I'm about to read you is, well, let me put it this way. What I wrote in here on this one particular day was the biggest interaction in my whole research that I've been doing in the Sierra Nevada mountains and the Sierra Mountains. What happened that day, oh my God, I don't know how to, I really couldn't even tell you. So many things were going on in that moment. But anyway, some events occurred where things went south real quick. And like for instance, our technical equipment went foul. Period. I mean, we had brand new batteries, brand new cameras, brand new everything. Nothing but nothing. When a certain situation occurred, everything quit operating. Therefore, when I took we did finally get a video going, trying to document this. And then we come to find out that when I put it up on my channel, which at that time would have been T. Muss and Bigfoot, the stinking, I had video, but I had no audio. So therefore, my viewers could not understand what was going on through that whole interaction situation. So when I found that out, as soon as I did, is I got down, I started my very first file, volume 1 right here, which is from 2012 to 2013. It was 13 years ago I wrote this. I don't know what I wrote. That's what I'm trying to explain to you right now. I do not know what I wrote, what we experienced that day. So if you don't mind, I'm going to read it to you, because this is new to me too. I wrote it, but I don't know what the hell I said in it. This was a good opener in my volume 1, first edition of my journals. And before I get started, let me set the scenario for you, okay? Now, where this occurred at was not around here, where I'm at now. This happened way over by the Tahoe Basin, that part of the Sierra Mountains, which is one of the highest elevation of the Cascade. And we had been doing research in this one area for the length of time. And I did know we had enough evidence together that we knew something did exist, something was in that area. But we could not find nothing. I put trail cams in there and nothing. They would go off, but nothing, inconclusive. Anyway, so the scenario is this. Just picture this, and I'm going to read this to you. You have to descend down to this canyon, which is about 400 feet down. Okay, it takes a while to descend down. Once you get down to the canyon, there's a river that flows through there. It's called the Middle Fork, and it's one of the most parts of the American River that is never been studied much. This one area, I'm telling you right now, not one single sign of evidence at all of any human being, period. I know that. There's never been a human being in this area, because they don't know where it's at. And so you got to go down this canyon. Once you get down to the canyon, okay, I'm going to tell you right now, it's a bad place to be, because it's a box canyon. What does that mean? That means when you get down in the center of it, you're boxed in. Everything is straight 35-degree angle, getting the hell back out. You got to go back up 400 feet. You got any apex predator on your ass, I'm telling you, there's no escape from it. I'll tell you that right now. There is absolutely no escape. You can't get away from it. You have to be prepared for that. Anyway, that's what the scenario was, okay? I'm going to show you what I read. Or I should say, I'll read to you what I wrote, I should say. Now, I don't know if you could see that or not, but that is my very first file. I'll give it, maybe you can see it, I don't know. But that's my very first file. And here's what I wrote. Like I said, bear with me, because this is new to me, because I have no idea what I put down in here. All right, let's see. Okay. Research documented in the Sierras. 2012. This is in the winter. In this area, we have been researching for months. We found so much evidence, such as footprints that measured 17 to 18 inches and 5.5 to 6 inches across. Also fresh droppings and piles of pine cones that were stacked and collected. On this day, which is early morning, no snow, no rain.
but it's cold, very cold. Temperature down in the 30s. Excuse me. We started to descend down the canyon, which was 300 to 400 feet. It was not an easy task to go down to the bottom of the canyon, twice as hard to climb back up. There was a river, which is called the Middle Fork. Right off the bank was a big fallen pine tree. So Garland and I sat down on the pine to start observation. We also found no evidence of any human in this area. As we were observing, I was looking to my left and Garland to the right. About 40 minutes went by, and then something caught my eye to the left of me. What I saw I thought was a human male dressed in dark clothing coming down the canyon. But as it got closer, I could now see that this is not a human. The creature was coming in a fast pace down the mountain. No human can do this. It took us 45 minutes to descend. Now I see him. Oh my God, they do exist. It's a male covered in dark hair, except the face area. He appears to be 8.5 feet tall, about 600 to 800 pounds. My God, he's so massive. He looked right at us and went behind some thickets. He's watching us through the foliage in a squatting position. He then stood up and put his arms upward as in a stretching position. The arms are massive. So thick I could see his hands. They were huge. Hands just like ours, 4 fingers and a thumb. No hair on the palms of the hand or the bottom of their feet. Note, the feet look almost human. His face almost looked human. By God's my witness, what I see is something that was to be extinct. He is still alive and reproducing. I think this is early man and still in existence. If I was to go back 300 to 400,000 years ago, what I would see is what early man would look like. What we do know now is what we are observing. In fact, a species of hominin, after watching him for the last 10 to 15 minutes, which was mind-blowing event to say the least. The hominin then evaded us. It was like he just disappeared. How can something so large just disappear? The rest of this day, Garland and I were speechless. Conclusion, they are real.
Wow. I didn't even know I wrote that. But that's what I wrote 13 years ago. What do you think? You think I really seen something that day? Did Garland see something that day? Or was I just full of shit and I just wrote that? What do you think? Fact or fiction? I'll tell you what. It's fact. And it's nonfiction. Because it happened. And I'm going to tell you something. That day, we knew very well when all that interaction occurred, we put our lives in harm's way. And because I had absolutely no idea that interaction we had with that cryptid creature, how it would turn out once we met face to face. He could have ripped me and Garland to pieces, limb by limb, if he felt like it. I knew that. You're dealing with something that is part human, but you're dealing with something too that's something that you can't explain. We can't explain. But nonetheless, he meant us no harm. In fact, it was a male, he was just as curious of me and Garland as we were of him. Period. And for years and years, it bothered the hell out of me is how he evaded us. There was no way he could have got away from us. And then it hit me. There was only two venues he could have used to evade us. One, there could have been a gateway or a portal there. Could have been. Two, we could have stumbled upon his dwelling where he actually lives. And if that's the case, I know down in there is prehistoric caverns and prehistoric solution caves. That's how he evaded us. So, anyway, how'd you like that story? Man, I'm telling you, that brought back memories. I'll never forget that. That's, if my camera would not have failed, see, I had a brand new camera I bought and brand new batteries. I checked that thing thoroughly before we started that descending down in the canyon. But when I fired that camera up when he was coming down off that mountain, all of a sudden my camera was dead. Batteries were drained. Nothing. I couldn't get nothing going. You want to talk about frustration? You want to talk about being PO'd? Oh my God, I'm seeing this thing, a shot of a lifetime, and a stupid camera. And then all of a sudden, when he finally came down and went behind the thickest, then the camera comes on. But then you had no audio. I'm glad I wrote that. Otherwise, you wouldn't have known what was actually going on verbally. So, one more note before I let you go. Something else I found in here. Let's see what I did with it. Here we go. So, what else I put some notes down in here? You might be interested. Let's see. March 1st, 2013. We contacted Oxford University in England by email, told them what we have. Also, we sent a video of the hair. We then got a response from Professor Brian Sykes, who also does DNA testing. On March 10, 2013, we met Professor Sykes in San Francisco, where he picks up the sample of hair himself. Now we wait for the results of the DNA test, which takes 4 to 6 weeks. Now see, it takes a while, guys. Everybody thinks you can do a DNA test in days. That's bullshit. You can't. And that all depends, too, on how much contamination is on what you're having tested, whether it's blood, bone, hair. And the set of hairs we gave him that day in San Francisco was the cleanest, uncontaminated hair he had ever seen before in his career. That's a fact. During our meeting, we had a 3-hour conversation on our research results. On Bigfoot, Professor Sykes was very excited in our information. I asked Professor Sykes if he would like to accompany us to our hotspot where we are now researching. He replied yes. And was also very excited about getting some interaction with Bigfoot, as we do, every time we go there. Professor Sykes is a very amazing man, and he gets our whole respect and total respect. There you guys go. So,
that blew me away finding that. So anyway, I'm gonna let you guys go. And oh, if you're kind of wondering what these are, this is another hair. This over here was let's see, Sierra Project 2022 hybrid Sasquatch hair. Hair is 12 inches long, colored gray. Tip of hair comes to a fine point, found by researcher Dan Shirley, 6/20/22, found 10 miles outside of Shingletown. How you like that, guys? Ones who live up here. And the hair starts right up here, goes all the way down there. That is continuous hair growth. That's your hybrid right there. That's him. He's here, guys. And this here, skin and hair from the hand of Sasquatch, same place, 10 miles outside of Shingletown, 2020. There's the skin, and that's the hair. And how do I know that too? I look through a microscope. That is skin. And the hair on that, because I know what the hair looks like on their hands, because I've seen them that close. And that's hair from the hands. It's like I wrote in my file. You got hair in the hands, but not in the palms. Okay, guys, I'm gonna go. You guys have a good one. I hope you like that. Bye.